So SOE stands for Systems of Equations. And the first way and the only way we're going to look at today on how to solve a system of equations is by using substitution. So I picked this first equation because it's always the most simple ones that confuse students the most. Because some of you guys look at this and go, what the heck, where's the y? Okay, but this is nice because it kind of already gives you half of the answer. The answer is going to be a point, right? A set of coordinates. It's going to have an x number and a y number. That's going to be our answer. Well, we already have the x. The x is -1. So put -1 right there. In fact, if I graphed -1, x equals -1, that would be right here. It's a horizontal line at -1. Okay? And the way I remember that this one is a horizontal line and not a vertical line is because there's an x-intercept in this equation. There is not a y-intercept in this equation. So I shouldn't have this horizontal line right here. I should have a vertical line because that would give me an x-intercept, not the other way around. Thank you for fixing that. Wow, now everybody's going to be scarred for life.
Good job, bud.
Sorry about that. Okay, okay, wait, let me double check. Yeah, that's the y-axis, that's the x-axis. Okay, we're good. All right. I remember it because this one has an x-intercept. There's no y here. There's no y variable in this equation, and so therefore it doesn't have a y-intercept. Vertical lines don't have y-intercepts because they go straight up and down. All right? Okay, so how are we going to find the y? How are we going to find the y right here? We have only half of our answer. We have the -1. And then what we're going to do to find the y, well, we're going to take the 1 right here and we're going to plug it into the x because that's what x equals. So we're going to say y equals -2 times x plus 7. And my x right now is -1. And then I get busy. -2 times -1 is 2, not 3, 2. And then y equals, what was that? 2, 8, 9. 9. Hey, just giving time for people to think. Okay, so our answer is -1, 9. All right, let's graph this equation right here, just to see if it actually crosses right here. So this equation is in slope-intercept form, which means that right there is my y-intercept, and the -2 right there is my slope. So my y-intercept starts me at 7, so I'm going to graph 7 right here. Is that right? No, yeah, that's right. And then my slope is -2, so let's throw a 1 underneath the -2, so we have our rise and our run. Here's our rise and there's our run. Our rise is -2, so I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, then right 1. Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, and there we have our line. We go the opposite way. We can go up 2, back 1, and there we have our other equation. And look! That point, what is that point right there? Yes. Okay, so we know we did it right. Alright? That's the only visual representation I'm going to give you guys. The other ones we're just going to do algebraically. Now check out this one. This one, both the y's are already solved for. Both the y's are alone already. So how would you do this one? How would you solve this one? What you would do is this. Just take one of them and plug them into the other. So we're going to take out this y right here. So we'll go that equals 2x plus 9. And then we're going to plug in the x plus 5 for the y. Now we just have to solve. Always put parentheses though when you guys substitute, because sometimes you have to do something with those parentheses. In this case, we don't have to do anything with our parentheses because there's nothing multiplying to it or squaring or anything like that. So now we just got to get the x alone. So we'll let's subtract x from both sides. Let's do it that way. So I get x plus 9 and 5. Then I would subtract 9 from both sides, and I get x, and then this I get -4. So far I have half of my answer. I have -4 for my x. How do I find the y? Yeah, you're just going to take this and substitute again. Okay, we'll plug in x. Which one do I plug it into? Any one you want. You can plug it into the top one to have y equals 2 times -4 plus 9, or you can plug it into the bottom one, y equals -4 plus 5. You get the same answer for both of these. What do you get? Uno. There's your answer. Now I showed you guys in the previous example that you can graph both of these and see if they both cross at -4, 1. If they both cross at -4, 1, then you know you did it right. Another way to check your answer is by plugging the -4, 1 into this equation and then plugging it into this equation and seeing if it works for both of them. That's how you know for sure if that's your answer. And the way you do that is just by going, let's see, y equals 2 times x plus 9, and the other one says y equals x plus 5. So let's plug it into these. We have -4 goes in for the x, 1 goes in for the y, -4 and 1. All right, does it work for both of those? Yes. This is going to be -8 plus the 9 is 1, so that one works. And -4 plus 5 is 1, so that one works. So it works for both of them, so I know my answer is correct. All right, let's look at another one. All right, now this one looks ugly and hairy. Now, if they look ugly and hairy, that's not a big deal because you can manipulate the equations to make them look however you want. Okay? Now, for substitution, we just need to solve for one variable. Solve for one variable and take that and plug it into the other one. We have 4 variables up here. We have this y, this y, this y, and this y. I mean, technically, we only have 2 variables because these y's are the same, but they're in different equations. So let's just, for the sake of our conversation, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which variable would you guys like to solve for? The first, second, third, or fourth? I wouldn't pick the first one. And the reason why I wouldn't pick the first one is because when you look at this y right here, in order to get it alone, you're going to have to divide by 8. And you have to divide this by 8, and you have to divide this by 8. So you're going to get a fraction there, and you're going to have a fraction here. Now, is it possible to find your answer that way? Absolutely. You're just going to have to deal with fractions. And so I wouldn't solve for the first one, if I don't want to deal with fractions.
The second one.
I would pick the second one, or I'd pick the fourth one. Because they both have a -1 in front, and you can divide everything by -1. So, let's pick the first x right here. Let's just solve for that one. Okay, so we're going to solve for that x right there. And to do that, we're going to go write it out first. And then subtract 8y, peace out. And subtract 8y from the other side. What do I have to do next? Yeah, I got to take out the negative. Instead of saying take out the negative, what do I have to do? Divide it by -1. I could divide it by -1 or multiply by -1. So, see, -1 divided by -1 is positive 1x. And you got to divide each of these by -1. You can't just do one of them. So, -4 divided by -1, that's positive 4. -8 divided by -1, that's going to be positive 8y. Now my x is alone. Yay! Smiley face. Okay, so we come up here. We don't need you anymore because you're ugly. We want this one. X equals 4 plus 8y. So there's our new equation. We manipulated him to make him do what we want him to. Now x equals this. So I'm going to take this x out and put in this. Let's do it. Alright, so we have 5 times x minus y equals 59. I got this from this guy right here. Notice I didn't write the x. That's because x equals this. So that's what I'm going to put in there. So let's put in 4 plus 8y. Now I just have to distribute, simplify and solve. That times that is going to give me 20 plus 40y minus y equals 59. How many y's do I have? 39. So I have 20 plus 39 y's equals 59. I subtract 20 from both sides. I get, oh man, I'm running out of space. 39y equals 39. So y equals uno. Okay, so we have 1 for my y. How am I going to find the x? Mi estudiantes. Plug it into the y. Now, you can put it in there, or you can put it in there. Doesn't matter. But which one's easier? The red one or the black one? The red one. So we're going to plug the 1 into that. So we're going to get x equals 4 plus 8 times 1. That's going to be 8 plus 4 is 12. That's your answer. And you could graph it to check it, or you can plug it in to check it. Boom. That's how you do it. Like I said, we can manipulate equations to make them look however we'd like. So, why is this system equation ugly? It has a fraction. I know you guys saw it and you guys are like, ah! Alright, that's okay. Natalie, you don't have to scream. Okay. Alright. So, whoops. Like I said before, we can manipulate the equations to make them look however we want. So let's get rid of this fraction, yeah? All right, what do I have to do to this whole equation to get rid of that fraction?
Multiply by 4.
Multiply by 4. We're manipulating it. So 4 times 2y is going to be 8y. Negative 4 times 4 times negative 1/4 will be negative 1. And then 4 times negative 1, that will be negative 4. All right? Once you manipulate it, cross them out so you don't look at them ever again. And look, isn't this the same system we just solved?
Yes.
Faux show, doggas and doggets. So we don't need to do it again because I already showed you how to do it. All right, that's it for this one. The next video, I'll show you guys how to do a system of equations with a quadratic.